Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video I want to go over a recent quiz you took that required your use of the VLOOKUP function in Excel. And I've already got a VLOOKUP video out there, but let's have this one specific to just what you had to do in this recent quiz. So you were provided with a table of data. Let me go ahead and let me bring this little box over here a little bit closer, and let me zoom in a bit. Okay. So you were provided with this table of data. Actually, you had to reproduce it real quick. Simple data with some mock information in it. And so we've got about 10 employees, it looks like. They all have various years of experience. And you were to assign each employee a rank or a category based on their years of experience. The employee rank is determined by the years of experience. Use the lookup table to assign the appropriate rank. And I happen to have a table right down here. Based on their years of experience, they're assigned an appropriate rank. 0 through 4 is probationary, 5 through 9 is junior, 10 through 14 associate, 15 through 19 is executive, 20 and higher senior executive. Now when you're doing a lookup array for a VLOOKUP table, you don't actually have to put in the min and the max and stuff like that. You generally just have to put in the minimum criteria, especially in this kind of a range situation. So if a person only has 3 years of experience, they don't get to the 5 junior level. They'll still be at the last level they did achieve. So don't get too bogged down by mins and maxes. Just put down the minimum criteria in order to get to that level. Alright, so let's go ahead and work on this. And of course, as always, I want to work on just one row, write the function in a proper way so that I can fill it downward to all other employees, no matter how many there are. So I'm going to start off with my VLOOKUP. And I'm just going to press my tab key right now, and that'll pop in the name and start me up. And I'm using this screen tip here as my tips, as my guidance. And I see that there's 3 parameters that I need. This 4th parameter in square brackets is an optional parameter. Doesn't mean you don't need it for it to work. Depends on what you're doing. We don't need it today. So my lookup value is what I need to look up. An employee comes to you and says, hey, what's my rank? Well, what's your years of experience? Once you know the years of experience, then you can look it up in the table and find out. So our lookup value is going to be their years of experience, comma. The table array is going to be the table of data that contains the lookup values and results. I'm going to select that, and notice that I'm not selecting this top row of labels. The labels is unimportant to Excel. It really just needs this data. So I've got a table array right here. And you can see my function is being built for me, F14 to G18. While that's selected, I'm going to press my F4 key, and that's going to convert this table array into absolute. Since all of my employees are going to be using the same table array, I want that to be an absolute value. And then I can just click here, type a comma. Notice I jumped up to the formula bar to edit instead of actually in the cell. And now the column index number containing the result. I just type a number 2 here because the resulting rank is in the 2nd column of my table array. 2 for the 2nd column. Then I can close off the parentheses and press enter. And I can see that my employee with 23 years of experience is given the rank of senior executive. I autofill this down and I kind of look through a few to make sure things are accurate. 2 years of experience is probationary. 11 is associate. Does those sound right? Yep, because 10 to 14 is associate. So things look like they're going really well. What's a common mistake with this? Not doing that absolute. Okay, so check this out. If I forgot to do absolute and I left my table array as relative, it would have been fine for the first person and maybe even for the next couple people. But at some point, things will go south. Okay, so my first employee is using F14 to G18. That's accurate. My second employee, though, is using F15 to G19. See, their table array is actually starting to miss the mark. I got lucky because their data was still in the selected range. But at some point, it just doesn't work for me anymore because now this table array is F17 to G21, which is starting to not even get their data. So, easy thing to forget, but fortunately, it's also easy to notice and easy to correct. I just go back, select my table array reference here in my formula, press F4 to make it absolute, enter to accept, refill down, I'm back in business. The other scenario you had was calculating bonuses again. And let's see, this word problem, let me delete the result. So in this one, the employee bonus is calculated using the bonus schedule. When the sales level is determined, the bonus percentage is based off of the base salary. Okay, so we've got the various sales level and then the various bonus rates. We need to figure out what the appropriate bonus rate is, and then we need to multiply that by their base salary. So, equals another VLOOKUP. The lookup value is going to be their sales. The sales determines the bonus percentage. Okay, so I look at sales, and I have to go to my table array. I select just the data, not the column headings. Press F4 to make it absolute, comma 2. Now, what is this going to get me? This result here is simply going to get me a percentage. It's going to give me a 0, a 4, a 6, an 8, or a 10. So if I were to press my enter key right now, I wouldn't technically be done, although I would get a result. Let's see what happens. Well, they're all showing up as 0 because they're all in currency format. If I changed them over to commas, you would see that I'm actually getting some decimal style percentages now. So a person with 106,000 in sales would get a 10% bonus. Sure enough, 100,000 or higher is 10%. Somebody with 93,000 in sales gets an 8% bonus. Sure enough, between 80 and 99 is 8% bonus. But I didn't want the bonus rate. I actually wanted the bonus applied as a percentage of their base salary. So I'm not 100% done here. I have to go back to this formula, double click to edit. So this complete VLOOKUP function gets me the percentage rate, but I still need to know the actual bonus amount in dollars. So I need to multiply, this result by their base salary. So I take the percentage rate figured from the table and I multiply it by their base salary, and I press enter. Now I get a number that makes sense to me. So this employee that had over 100,000 in sales gets a 10% bonus. Since their base salary is 24,000, their bonus is 2,400. And that's the way it works. And if I want to convert these to currency, I could just simply select a formatting I like. Format painter, copy those. There we go. All right, so that's your VLOOKUP function solution.